Alrighty, welcome back everybody to another Vintage Cube Draft. Now, there are several cards I would pick here. I'm going to take the Mox because, obviously, if you see Power, you should probably pick Power. But I would also be willing to take first pick Library, first pick Deck, and if I was going to force Storm, first pick Frantic Search. But definitely going to start with the Mox Jet here, 100%. Alright, pack 2, what do we got? We have the all-important blue-red fixing in this pack. There's a Gitaxian Probe here as well, which if I want to draft blue, I could take Probe, because I could play Probe in pretty much any deck that I want to play, and have it be decent. I don't see any real strong other picks other than maybe like Burst Lightning, Hazoret. Top is good. I have trouble making top work personally. I think I'm going to take Probe. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Ooh. There's a Mind Twist. Mind Twist is very strong. There's also Time Spiral, which is like one of the critical components to play Storm. It's one of like the best. There's a Karakas. There's also Vendilion Click, which I would play both of these cards. Like if you can play Vendilion Click Karakas, you can do some pretty nasty things to your opponent while also cycling your own cards. It's pretty sweet. I don't know if I want to force Storm. Oddly enough, I'm not seeing a lot of white cards. I'll take Click, I think, and we'll see what starts coming around. So, in this pack, there's an Inquisition, a Frost Titan, and a Tree Speaker, but I don't really want to go into green with this deck. I think I'm going to take Frost Titan, because I really like Frost Titan in this format. Oh man, Narset? Narset Click is like one of the dreams, right? Like, you click them, you just straight up Thoughtseize them. That's gross. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Narset. If that Time Spiral comes all the way around, we're, like, good to go. I could take Badlands, I could take Banefire. Ophiomancer is very strong, but I see a Brain Freeze. If Time Spiral comes around, we'll take Time Spiral, and then we'll be Mono Blue Storm again. Not that that's what I was trying to do, but I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for it a little bit. Okay, there is a Nighthawk Scavenger, Sacred Foundry, Taiga, Desperate Ritual, and Seething Song. Nighthawk Scavenger is an incredibly powerful card. The only problem I have with it is that it is double black. We do have a black Mox. If I wanted to draft Storm, and I do, Seething Song is very powerful, but you can only really play a particular kind of Storm deck with it. I think it's probably still worth taking, so we'll do that, I guess. We could take Seasoned Pyromancer. We could also take Hymn to Turok, because like turn 1 Swamp Mox Jet Hymn to Turok is pretty crazy. Seasoned Pyromancer is good, so is Flame Slash. How likely is it we play black? Alright, I'll speculate on Hymn to Turok, but only because we have the Mox. Thassa's Oracle is great. It is a win condition for the Storm deck, and seeing a blue card come all the way around is fantastic. If we happen to wheel a Time Spiral, this deck is probably going to be nuts because nobody is in Storm and nobody is in blue, if that is the case. We know, like, it's likely that maybe 4 people, like, to our right that are currently passing to us are not likely to be in blue, considering the power level of the blue cards that were coming around. I heard the noise. I thought that means I get the booster. Alright, there's a Liliana's Triumph and a Shieldred. I think I'll take the Triumph as removal. Okay, no Time Spiral, which is very disheartening. So I think I might try and pivot into like a blue-black control deck, maybe? I think that's the plan now. Sling Gang Lieutenant is pretty strong. I don't know if I would play blue-white. I don't think I'll be playing Corpse Dance. Nighthawk Scavenger last pick. Okay. Let's sort by converted mana cost. We're going to drop Seething Song and Anguish Song. How do I pick between this? I mean, so one of these cards is much stronger than the other. But how do you pick between Ancestral Recall, Black Lotus? Oh, someone is going to be very happy. So there's an old adage in Magic that says, no matter what deck you have, it's better with Black Lotus in it. And so we're going to take Black Lotus, but like, and there's a Demonic Tutor in this pack. Alright, Black Lotus it is. There's a Force of Will and Treachery, both of which are extremely strong. I think I'm going to go with Force of Will because we do have a high density of blue cards. Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall. Well, someone is going to be very happy about that. I could take Bloodstainmire to see if we can find like a I kind of want a Force Storm now. But like I would need at minimum High Tide, and I have not seen it. Looter Eelcore is very strong. Turnabout is like strictly a storm card. Ren and 6 while strong is way out of our colors. I kind of want to take Bloodstainmire, but we don't even really have a reason to build Threshold at the moment, and it's not fixing on its own. I think that means the pick is either Memory Jar or Looter, and hope to wheel like Turnabout. I think I'm going to take Looter. Okay, there's Mind's Desire. There's also a Polluted Delta and a Counterspell. Counterspell is very strong. I'm going to take Polluted Delta, and hopefully Mind's Desire wheels in this pack. I do need the fixing, because our mana is not that great right now. There's a Murderous Rider, which is great in the non-Storm deck. There's Lotus Bloom, which if we got like Tezzeret would be quite good. This card is not that great in Storm, even if you like try and set up a good suspend turn. I think I'm just going to take Venser. Kind of sad to have missed out on Venser Karakas, but Venser is a very good card. Gush versus Pestermite versus Fatal Push. This is not a shallow grave deck. I think I'm going to take Gush. Yeah, this is the problem with like me going into blue and only half committing to Storm. Is now I'm in a deck that is neither, and probably not good. Okay, well there's Kiki, unfortunately. Through the Breach, Blightsteel, Ulamog. I could take Blightsteel or Ulamog and see if I can get a Tinker or if Mind's Desire comes around. Ulamog is much stronger to hit off Mind's Desire, and like occasionally you can just like High Tide into these threats. But Blightsteel Colossus also gives us the option of potentially finding a Tinker. I'm going to take Blightsteel. Ooh, Miscalc is very strong. There's also Vampiric Tutor and Ancient Tomb. I have a little bit of a problem with Ancient Tomb in this deck because most of our color costs are so heavy. So I think I'm just going to go with Miscalculation and try and have a little more interaction. I'll take Breeding Pool. Maybe we get an off-color fetch, or maybe we need to splash green. Like, I could splash an Oko, potentially, if I saw one. Or like a Manamorphose, just as an example. I don't think I want Emrakul, the Promised End, or Yawgmoth, so I'll take Manamorphose. Turnabout Memory Jar came around, which hopefully means Mind's Desire will too. I'm going to take Turnabout. There's Mind's Desire. Alright, we're getting ourselves a Storm deck. I'm taking Empty the Warrens, but I'm almost certainly not playing that. Last pick, Kiki. No respect for Kiki. Alright, so we have this last pack to try and make this a Storm deck with Black Lotus Mox. If I could get a Yawgwill, that would be amazing. So in this pack, there's Brainstorm, but I think I'm going to take Daze. Daze is an incredibly strong card. I think as our last list shows us. So yeah, I'm going to take Daze. There's a Pyretic Ritual, Watery Grave. There's also a Riftwing Cloudskate or Shelldock, which isn't bad, but I think Watery Grave is definitely the pick here. We're looking for High Tide, and hopefully we can find it. There's Dark Petition, Grave Titan, Windswept Heath can get blue mana, but we don't need white, I guess. I do like Grave Titan because, like, we're very close to just Black Lotus out a Grave Titan really fast. It's probably a higher pick than Dark Petition for most people, especially like a lot of other decks, so I think I'm going to take the Grave Titan over the Dark Petition here. There's a 1000-Year Storm, but I think I'm going to take the Mana Leak here. We have a lot of good 2-mana counters. We only passed Counterspell. And I think what we lack in like straight Storm capability, we're going to make up with for being like a control deck with a like Storm Mind's Desire finish, which I think can actually be quite strong. I'm going to take Ashiok because he's so good, or they're so good in this format. But so is Bloodchief's Thirst and Thieving Skydiver. Thieving Skydiver I actually really like. I saw this card and like I knew it would be good, but every single time I've cast it, it's been great. Okay. So there's Big Emrakul, which is pretty great. There's also Shark Typhoon and Impulse. I really like Shark Typhoon because like we can just cycle it to make like a big shark and protect it with counter spells. But we can also, as like the Storm deck, cast Shark Typhoon and win with a whole bunch of sharks. I don't know whether it or Impulse would be higher pick. I imagine Impulse is, but I'm going to take the Shark Typhoon just because it's great. Repeal Fallen Shinobi or Wheel of Fortune. Don't really have the capability to storm super hard. We also have no fixing for red, other than like Manamorphose here. I think if I was drafting actual storm, I would take Wheel of Fortune here, but I think I'm going to take Repeal. Like, Repeal Moxjet is basically free mana. Like, it's just a free cantrip. Okay, there's a Plague Crafter, Smuggler's Copter, Makeshift Mannequin, Mirari Conjecture, return target instant card, return target sorcery card. I have never ever seen this card played, and I cannot imagine it would be good. But I'm going to try taking it because I don't think Makeshift Mannequin or Plague Crafter are playable in my current deck. There's an Overgrown Tomb, which is just another card that could potentially let us cast Manamorphose. We never saw High Tide, unfortunately. Chupacabra might be better here, but I'm going to take Manamorphose. I think I'm going to splash the Manamorphose if I can. Ooh, Spell Pierce is nice. I do like the Spell Pierce. Dark Petition came around. So, yep, Dark Petition. 1,000-Year Storm? I don't think I can actually stretch the mana to 1,000-Year Storm here. I don't think we need it. I would have to get it off of Black Lotus or Manamorphose, which probably means Collective Brutality is going to be way better on average. I guess I'll take an Una's Prowler for the sideboard. Stomping Ground would have let me would have let me splash. Alright. Well, so this deck is probably really bad. So the reason that the Storm kill is terrible in this deck is we have no way to buy stuff back from the grave. Somebody else was definitely drafting Storm. Which I think means we are actually a Dimir control list. I mean, there could be a situation where we like Brain Freeze ourselves and Thassa's Oracle to win, which would be really cool. But that means we're not playing Blightsteel if I'm doing that. We have really, really great low mana plays here. Okay, I'm not playing Empty, obviously. Maybe I'm not main decking Collective Brutality. I think the plan is we're going to try and like Mind's Desire into Shark Typhoon, Frost Titan, or Grave Titan. Oh man, even if we had had Time Spiral over Vendilion Click, if I had just like forced it, we would be, I think, in a better place than we are right now. I don't know if I can actually play Manamorphose. Like, playing a Breeding Pool or an Overgrown Tomb is pretty low opportunity. And we can Polluted Delta for them if we need it. So we could have 3 green sources. I guess that could be good as a cantrip. It might help us cast like a double black spell or something like that. Okay. I need to cut... We have no draw 7s, which makes Narset way worse. She's good with Vendilion Click, and she can help refill our hand. I'm not going to play the Mirari Conjecture. I really don't think it's good. Maybe well, Nighthawk Scavenger can be really powerful because we have so much counter magic to protect it. Like, we have Spell Pierce, Miscalc, Mana Leak, Daze, and Force of Will to protect any threat we put on the board. So, like, if we can just, like, turn to land, Mox, Black Lotus, lay out a Titan, protect it with Force, we're gonna win. Like, I don't know what beats that, other than an even more absurd or faster hand. Turnabout does have some applications as like in a control deck. Like, we could tap down our opponent's lands if we're worried about them interacting with us, that sort of thing. So like the end goal of this deck is to like get into a situation where maybe we probe, gush, repeal Mox, replay Mox, and then Mind's Desire and try and win the game from there. I think I'm gonna cut Sling Gang Lieutenant because we don't need a bunch of creatures on the board for any reason. And it's not like it's not like it makes a big board or repeatedly creates creatures. Like, if this was like a Bitter Blossom, I would play it. All right. I think I need to cut one more card, and it's probably Dark Petition. Like, this card is very good. We could just go get Nighthawk Scavenger and play it, or we could go get him to Turok and waste our opponent's hand. But like, I think in the general sense, because it's not like we have Yawgmoth's Will or anything, it's going to be kind of bad. Bind groups, add basic land. Oh wait, hang on. Do I want to run Manamorphose? No, I don't think I do. We'll just Watergrave, Polluted Delta, Black Lotus Mox, add basics. 10 swamps, or 10 islands, 3 swamps. So that puts 6 black sources for this deck. I mean, okay. This is... Oh, man. I think this is fine. I really wish we had gotten High Tide and Time Spiral, because then we would be an actual legitimate Storm deck. But, like, could you imagine if we cast Mind's Desire and hit Shark Typhoon? And then we just cast Shark Typhoon and then cast whatever other spells we hit and make a bunch of big sharks? Alright, we'll play first. Oh yeah, what is this? Potentially a turn 3 Frost Titan? That seems really good. Frost Titan with, like, Miscalc backup. We'll start Island, pass the turn. We have Spell Pierce to protect ourselves. Okay, opponent preordains, that's fine. Alright, we untap. We draw another island. Perfect. Pass the turn. Oh, this is going to be glorious. It's like if my opponent plays anything, I'm just going to counter it. Like if they play a Mana Rock or a Cantrip or... Alright. I'm going to wait one more turn so I can hold up Spell Pierce in addition, I think. Because 2 blue mana untapped is scary. Alright, I'm going to cycle Miscalc. Mana Leak is nice. Fetch with Polluted Delta, and let's get a Swamp. Untap. We draw an island. Play an island. Play Black Lotus. Crack it for blue. Cast Frost Titan. Opponent remands. We Spell Pierce remand. Alright, Frost Titan enters. We tap down Seachrome Coast. Pass the turn. If my opponent plays like a land and has a path to answer Frost Titan, I'm actually going to Gush and see if we can hit Force. I think. But like we have a resolved Frost Titan with Mana Leak to protect it now. And Shriekmaw is nice too. I'm going to flash the, or I'm going to shock this in because I can actually just hardcast Gush as an instant speed divination. Keep Seachrome tapped. Hit our opponent for 6. Okay, pass the turn. That's my alarm to let me know my laundry is done. Okay, opponent plays a Colonnade. They're going to play Thieving Skydiver. That's fine. I'm just going to cast Gush, and we can Shriekmaw that. Oh, nice. We get Click. And Ashiok. Alright. Evoke Shriekmaw. I would cast it, but then we can't hold up Mana Leak. Go to combat. Attack and keep Colonnade tapped. Hit our opponent down to 8. Pass the turn. And like even if they have a Wrath, they just run it right into a Mana Leak. That does stop us from like flashing Vendilion Click to just kill them this turn. Oh, we can just turn about their lands on their upkeep? I mean, that sounds kind of mean. But like they're dead to Vendilion Click, so even if they do somehow have removal for Frost Titan here, we can just flash in Vendilion Click and kill them. If I had one more mana, I would have turned about their lands on their upkeep. Alright. This might be a deck I actually want Collective Brutality against, because I could, like, duress my opponent. But Hand Hate and counterspells generally do not belong in the same deck. I mean, when some of those counterspells are free, maybe, but... Okay. I don't know if this is a real hand, but I might do some stuff. My opponent plays a library. We'll play an island. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent's going to draw a card. They play an island. So this is pretty strong. We can't stop our opponent from basically playing any spell. Well, they're gonna keep drawing like 2 cards a turn for a very long time. I really like Click, actually. I'll put Click on top, because that gives us a clock that's pretty respectable, and one that we can protect with Force or Spell Pierce. Okay, opponent draws an extra card. And now I have 9 cards in their hand. They pass turn and have to discard at the end step. Oh, we can interact with this. We have Narset. I just remembered. Opponent discards Gideon Blackblade. We draw Click. Go to combat. Attack with Thassa's Oracle. If we click them and they counter Click or interact with Click, it's possible that we can take them off of activating Library. Okay. But it draws up to 8 cards. They play an island. They play Thieving Skydiver. That's fine. And they pass the turn. We'll try clicking them, see what's going on. They have Time Spiral. They have Mana Tithe. No, I don't think we'll be adjusting their hand at all. We untap, draw Looter Eel Core, go ahead and evoke Shriekmaw, kill Thieving Skydiver, And now we're just going to start beating down. So if my opponent draws white mana, they're almost certainly going to try and Banishing Light. We're so close to being able to hardcast Force, I don't think playing out Looter is correct here. Okay. My opponent might have to play out Thassa's Oracle as just like one of their only playables. They're casting their own Click. Do I want to force that? Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to pitch... Looter could be very good. I'm going to pitch Looter, though. I think we just have to protect the clock that we have. And we have more counter spells that we can draw. We have a ton. Opponent passes turn and discards Mana Tithe, so we don't have to worry about the old Force Spike. Play Polluted Delta, go to combat. Attack our opponent for 4, take them to 11. Opponent's hand is very strong, they just haven't drawn their white mana yet. Okay, they finally draw a Seachrome Coast and play Brawl. Okay, so that means they have a Remand available, and they're still holding all of the cards that are over on the right side of the screen there. So crack Polluted Delta, we're going to thin our deck. Might as well get Watery Grave. Untap. We draw Narset. Alright, go to combat. Attack with Vendilion Click. The opponent has no action, they go to 8. We'll play Narset. They should try and remand this. Okay. We will Spell Pierce Remand. Because this shuts off their whole library shenanigans. They can still Factor Fiction, but if they Time Spiral, they just completely run themselves out of cards. They might have to Face Fetter. They actually might have to Banishing Light here. Yeah, I'll take a Black Lotus. They're Thieving Skydivers in the grave. It's might be more likely that they have a counterspell, but they do have Face Fetters. I'm just going to hold it. Alright. The best part is my opponent has to resolve a spell to deal with Narset this turn, meaning that they still can't activate Library. Right, Banishing Light, hitting Narset. Opponent goes to combat and passes. We untap. We draw Repeal. Do they have another counterspell? They might. So let's go to combat. Attack them for 3. I kind of want to repeal Banishing Light in response to them activating Library. We could also potentially save Vendilion Click with it. Okay, opponent draws a card for turn. I probably should have played out Black Lotus there, because then I would be able to repeal Click and replay Click in the same turn. We're going to try repealing Banishing Light and stop them from getting this draw. It does give them the option of re-Banishing Light Click, but if we draw like Miscalc or Mana Leak as an example, it just gets way better. Oh man. Alright, opponent plays a Plains. Try and Mana Leak Banishing Light. I'm glad we drew Mana Leak and not Miscalc. Alright, opponent passes. We untap. We draw Mox Jet. Down tick Narset. I think I just take Ashiok. Go to combat. Attack our opponent with Vendilion Click. Take them to 2, so they have to answer Vendilion Click. Lay out Ashiok. Uptick on my opponent. We exile Plains Island Colonnade. I guess we'll play out Mox Jet and Lotus. At this point, there's no reason to have them in hand. So my opponent can Face Fetters like Ashiok and gain some life to get themselves temporarily out of the danger zone. Alright, opponent Wraths. Put Thassa's Oracle, then Vendilion Click. Alright, we untap. We draw Mind's Desire, which I guess was a reason to hold these in hand. Downtick Narset. We'll get Miscalc. Uptick Ashiok on my opponent. I could just cast Mind's Desire. Opponent also has a Narset. Miscalc is unlikely to hit anything. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with the 1 mana mind, or the 1 storm, the 0 storm Mind's Desire, the 6 mana unexpected results. Because basically anything we hit is fine. Like Grave Titan. Grave Titan is fantastic, you know. Oh man. Yeah, you love to see it. Calculated. Yep. My opponent pretty much has to have another Wrath, I think. So they can Faith's Fetters. We could Miscalc to make them tap out, but I don't think it's worth it. Okay. So they're gonna gain life up to 6. Sure. And the worst part is they're just raw top decking right now because they can't draw extra cards due to Narset. Alright, we draw an island. Uptick Ashiok on my opponent. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Teferi, Time Raveler. Alright. pass the turn. Oh, we're going to attack for 4, obviously. Hit them down to 2. I don't think miscalc is going to matter, but... and look at that Lotus sitting out there looking pretty. I should have held both of these in hand for the exact reason that was Mind's Desire, but I had this massive brain fart that was half the reason I built this deck. Alright, opponent plays a land, which likely means they drew that land, because I think they've missed several land drops. So whatever they have is, or whatever they're going to cast is whatever they've been holding. We know half of their hand currently. They can factor Fiction and put those cards in their hand, but we could then miscalc basically whatever they could get, and then they would effectively just mill themselves out. One more uptick on Ashiok, and we exile... We literally wits end them, which is pretty awesome. I could just also keep ticking up Ashiok to a victory here. They could play Thassa's Oracle just to have a blocker for a zombie, but they would need another creature. They know we're holding miscalc, too. Alright, opponent has an Elspeth. Yep, sure. If their plan is to uptick Elspeth and then play Thassa's Oracle, we miscalc Thassa's Oracle. You love to see it. You love to see it. Okay, well, I gotta go put my laundry away. I'll be right back. Alrighty. And we're back. Getting ready for round 2. Alrighty. We'll play first. I mean, this hand's not bad. This is a turn 2 Ashiok. So, we'll start Island, and we'll play Mox. The only reason that I'm doing this, instead of leaving Mox in hand to surprise our opponent with it, is like, maybe they have a counter spell. Maybe, we can force our opponent to play differently. This tends not to be a lot of interaction on turn 1, but you never know. Alright, opponent plays a Goblin Guide. We draw an island. Force of Will is nice, even if we do have to pitch Frost Titan to it. Ooh, we get a Dark Dwellers. And our opponent is playing green. Okay, opponent goes to combat. They attack Ashiok. Mind's Desire on top of our deck. Okay, Ashiok goes to 3. Opponent is going to Firebolt Ashiok down to 1. That's fine. It's the last point that we care about. Alright, we untap. We draw Mind's Desire, which I think would be the actual Force of Will now. Play Watery Grave tapped. Uptick Ashiok. Mill our opponent for 3. We get a Hex Drinker. Oh man. We could actually minus Ashiok to get a Hex Drinker and then just make it a Progenitus with Force of Will backup. Oh, that's so mean. This deck is sweet, let me tell you. Alright, opponent untaps. Plays a Forest, goes to combat. They attack, we get a Polluted Delta. They're going to hit Ashiok down to 1, that's fine. Okay, Ashiok goes to 1. They're going to play Wrenn and 6. Believe that's worth forcing. So we'll pitch Mind's Desire, tell them try again. We untap, we draw Probe. So uptick Ashiok on our opponent, see what we get. We mill Mountain, Mox Ruby, Wooded Foothill. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and probe and just pay mana. See what our opponent is holding. Seasoned Pyromancer, Mana Crypt, and Findhorn Elf. And a land. Okay, we get an island. Play Polluted Delta. Pass the turn. Opponent has no more direct damage, and they're about to have to deal with a Grave Titan and a wall of zombies. We're going to leave Polluted Delta uncracked so that we can potentially adjust our draw after our opponent, of course, attacks with Goblin Guide. Opponent goes to combat, attacks Ashiok. Ashiok has absorbed so much damage this game, it's not even funny. Alright, opponent plays Mana Crypt, 5 mana, flashes back Firebolt, finally killing Ashiok, and plays Findhorn Elves. Okay, so we're going to fetch to thin our deck, get an island, untap, we draw Mana Leak. We could play Frost Titan and tap down one of their red mana, stopping them from playing a Pyromancer or something. Grave Titan I think is better. No, Frost Titan is better this turn. Grave Titan is better next turn. It is unlikely our opponent will be able to do anything about a Frost Titan. It may have been correct to tap Mana Crypt there, but the only card I know about is double red right now. And the only way I can see my opponent killing Frost Titan is Bolt Chain Lightning and paying 4 mana on top of it. Okay, so they drew another mountain. They're probably playing Seasoned Pyromancer, okay. Opponent discards Chain Lightning. Alright, that's a good sign for us. 3 mana. Oh, opponent! Oh, you gotta you gotta pay 2 on top of that, dude. Oh, I'm so glad we played Frost Titan this turn and not Grave Titan. And that my opponent picked this particular sequence. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. So, Frost Titan is the least opponent-friendly wording of this ability. Okay, we draw Venser. So play an island, go to combat. We're going to attack and tap Mana Crypt. If my opponent Quadra blocks, we just like Venser the token and kill everything and leave up mana leak. But Frost Titan, most other effects that are worded or are similar to Frost Titan say abilities cost X more to target this like permanent. Frost Titan says whenever it's targeted, counter unless it pays 2, which is a separate thing. So like if you were in paper in a tournament, I think I'm just gonna run out Grave Titan at this point. If you were in paper at a tournament and you targeted Diffusion Sliver and you didn't have enough mana to pay, they would tell you to go back to the previous legal game state and because you can't pay the 2 extra mana. But if you target Frost Titan, it just gets countered and you don't get to go back. And that's how Moto treats it. Like if it was worded like Diffusion Sliver is worded as an example, your opponent wouldn't actually be able to put Beast Within on the stack. All right, so we're against mono red. Do we change at all for that? Might want Collective Brutality in this matchup because being able to kill something, drain my opponent. It's less good because while we do have a reanimation spell, it's Corpse Dance. I might want like Sling Gang. I think our deck is powerful enough. Like Mana Crypt Charged Gruul is pretty good, but our deck is particularly nasty. I'm gonna mulligan. I mean, turn 1 Narset is not a bad way to play this game. I can put back Watery Grave, so I'm not soft to like any form of Wasteland or Strip Mine. Keep saying Strip Mind, like that's a thing. Alright, opponent plays a Hex Drinker. Do we get a Shark Typhoon? We'll start Island, pass the turn. Next turn, I could play Narset and Swamp, or Narset and evoke a Shriekmaw at the same time. And I think I might do that if my opponent spends their entire turn leveling up Hex Drinker. I am somewhat tempted to wait and see if we draw a third land, because if we do, I could just Black Lotus out Shark Typhoon. This opponent's going to hit us for 2. They crack Wooded Foothills. They get a Mountain. And Renin 6. Okay. They pick up Wooded Foothills and pass. We untap. We draw a Looter Eel Core. Play a Swamp. I think I'm just going to evoke Shriekmaw this turn. We'll kill Hex Drinker. Pass the turn. If my opponent hadn't played Renin 6, I would probably play Looter there. Maybe putting back Venser was the play instead of Watery Grave, because like had we had Watery Grave, I could have played Shark Typhoon, and then we could play Narset and start making sharks and just in general have a good time. Okay. Opponent plays a Raging Ravine and upticks Renin 6. Oh man, if we could get a Force of Will to protect Shark Typhoon, we could just exile a card we don't care about out of our hand and make a 5/5 shark. That's pretty awesome. Alright. I'm gonna play out Looter. We're gonna try and wait one more turn, because man, if we can get the Shark Typhoon down and protect it with a Force of Will, that is awesome. I think the only thing that our opponent showed us that would interact with it too is that Beast Within. Opponent, seeing that we're mana screwed, should almost certainly downtick Renin 6 here. Yeah, that's fine. It's kind of what we expected. Okay, opponent plays a land, and they pass. We untap. We draw Mox Jet. Yeah, that'll do. Play Mox Jet. Oh, yes. Black Lotus. Add blue mana. Cast an old Shark Typhoon. Pass the turn. We got a Force of Will for that Beast Within, or any other crazy, like, non-creature permanent destruction shenanigans you may have. I mean, like, we could even use Venser to, like, reset that Raging Ravine if it attacks. There's the Beast Within. Man, am I glad we drew that Force, because now we're going to get some severe value. Nice. This is definitely one of the sweetest decks I've ever drafted, and it's all thanks to Black Lotus. They can't even animate an attack with Raging Ravine without the shark just eating it. A shark eating a whole ravine. I mean, they could do that and then down-tick Renin 6, and that would take care of the shark, right? But I probably wouldn't block the Raging Ravine here. I would just kill Renin 6. Really want to top deck an island here. That would be perfect. 3 mana. Okay, they play Seasoned Pyromancer, discard 2 lands, and they pass. We untap and draw. Daze. I guess that was like one of our next best draws to actually just drawing another island. So go to combat, attack Renin 6. Okay, Renin 6 down. Opponent is in the tank. Okay, they're going to attack us for 2, that's fine. Nothing would make me happier than my opponent tapping out for a threat. I mean, we probably still, if they play anything, we daze it, just to get another token to increase our clock. Because right now we're on a 4-turn clock. If we daze, we're on a 3-turn clock to kill them. But if they like cast an Inferno Titan here and we daze it... Alright. Opponent plays nothing. We untap. We draw a Gush. So go to combat. Attack for 5. Opponent does nothing. They go to 13. And I think we just pass. They're going to char our face. Okay. They untap. Play a mountain. They're probably animating Ravine here. Yep. Okay. Maybe I should have dazed the char just to get the 2/2 there. I was kind of anticipating another burn spell of some kind. We go to 5. See if they play anything else. Okay, opponent does not play anything else. If we draw an island, we can play Narset and also Gush. We can just probe as well, though that is kind of dangerous. I think we will, and we are going to pay life, because we really, really want to draw a... Oh, they have Chain Lightning, we're just dead. Yeah, Miscalc doesn't do it. Because we don't have a hard counterspell for Chain Lightning. Alright, well, pass the turn. But I'm pretty sure my opponent just Chain Lightnings me. I should never have put back that Watery Grave. But the Venser is what we needed to pitch to use that Forcible. That was still a sweet sequence, and I'm not upset about that game at all. Oof. I think I cut Brain Freeze just to add another island, really. It is highly unlikely we would ever kill our opponent with Brain Freeze, so... Alright, we'll play first. I mean, this hand's not bad. It just doesn't have any interaction, and not our fast mana. I think I have to mulligan, just to see if there's any interactive spells we could get. Okay, I can work with this. I will keep... I'm going to put back Venser, and play Watery Grave. Okay. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I actually think this is worth dazing. Even though setting ourselves back on mana here is pretty bad. Alright, replay Watery Grave. Actually, I probably should have played Polluted Delta there, just in case my opponent did have a Wasteland effect, because we do need all of our mana. But... Okay. Play an island. Pass the turn. They untap. Play a forest. Oh man, we might be able to Narset Vendilion click them. I'm gonna cycle Shark Typhoon. We get Probe. We draw Repeal. Let's probe them to find out what's going on. Opponent is missing lands and has a billion burn spells. Okay. We draw Force, which is nice. Play Polluted Delta. Crack Polluted Delta. They have a Burst Lightning, but they don't have any instant speed spells that could kill Narset. Play an island. Play Narset. My opponent could Avalanche Riders us, but that's why we have Force. Downtick Narset. They Burst Lightning her. Guess I take Ashiok. Alright. Pass the turn. If my opponent wants to cast another burn spell on Narset, I probably will let them. I think the only thing I would really force here is Avalanche Riders, because the land destruction here would be so backbreaking. Opponent does not cast any of the spells. Okay. Play an island. Pass the turn. Okay, on my opponent's draw step, we'll click them. Don't like that. Their highest value spell that we would like have to counter, I think, would be Sulfuric Vortex. Oh, great. Opponent does not get to draw, which is fantastic. So opponent plays a mountain. If they cast Avalanche Riders, we would definitely force that. Okay, they just Firebolt. We untap. Draw Shriekmaw. We'll play Ashiok. Uptick Ashiok. We get a Goblin Guide, and we hit Mountain and Garrick. Opponent chars Ashiok. I think that's fine. They don't have any other direct damage, and it's still Avalanche Riders that I'm most scared of. Fiery Confluence can only hit players. It's not like the old ruling where you could redirect damage from players to planeswalkers. The opponent casts Avalanche Riders, so we exile Repeal to force. Okay, we untap. Play a Swamp. Uptick Ashiok. Pass the turn. Leave up Miscalc. If my opponent plays a non-hasty creature, I guess we'll just Shriekmaw. But right now, Ashiok Mill appears to be the game plan. If this is Fiery Confluence dealing 6 damage to us, I would just take it. Okay. Opponent passes. We untap and draw Thassa's Oracle. So, uptick on our opponent. Ooh, Bloodbraid Elf. Play Thassa's Oracle. Let's look at the top of our deck. I kind of like Nighthawk Scavenger, so I think I'm going to put Nighthawk Scavenger on top. Pass the turn, leave up Miscalc. Nighthawk Scavenger is a very fast threat that we could also protect with a miscalculation. 5 mana for a Glorybringer. That I will counter. And opponent scoops the match. Alright. I will see you all in round 3. Alright, round 3. We'll play first. Yeah. I think this is fine. We'll keep... We can start Polluted Delta. We could fetch, Watery Grave for Spell Pierce, and then follow that up with a Hymn to Turok, which would be pretty good usually this early. Alright, opponent starts Thoughtseize. We're going to go Watery Grave, Spell Pierce, untap, we draw Force of Will, play a Swamp. Alright, we hit an island and an oust, which means our opponent is probably some kind of control Stoneforge. Yeah, I think we force a Stoneforge. Alright, come on, Lotus off the top, one time. Alright, we get a Gush, which depending on what my opponent does, I may actually just cast. 3 mana opponent, Lingering Souls. Okay. If we don't draw a land, I am going to Gush. Draw Mana Leak. Okay. So float blue mana. Go ahead and Gush. Play Narset. Downtick Narset. Get Ashiok. And play Watery Grave tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Lingering Souls again. Attacks Narset down to 1. Play Ashiok. Uptick on our opponent. See if we can get anything good. Nope. Pass the turn. We have no way of dealing with these onboard spirit tokens. Opponent plays Kaya. Okay. Well, we don't need to be buying back anything in our grave. I think our plan is to try and get to where we can hardcast a Titan of some kind. Everything at Ashiok. Okay. We untap. Draw an island. Uptick on our opponent. 3 lands. Play an island. Pass the turn. Hold up Mana Leak. Opponent plays a Darkslick Shores. Ticks on Gush, Hymn to Turok. You can now put 1 on Narset and 3 on Ashiok. Okay. So, I think our best bet here would be to have, like... Grave Titan is nice. Our best bet would to like, draw Probe our opponent, draw Black Lotus or Mox, then cast Mind's Desire. Okay, opponent attacks us for 4. Go to 12. Opponent plays a kicked Jace Mirror Mage, we Mana Leak. Untap. Okay, there's Black Lotus. Play an island. We are going to try casting a Grave Titan here. Pass the turn. Opponent attacks us for 4. We're gonna have like 8 cards in exile pretty quick, which means Kaya's ult is just gonna kill us. Oh, they ulted her right there. We go to 3. Alright, well we gotta do something. Play an island, play Black Lotus, cast Mind's Desire, X2, get a Probe and a Frost Titan. Probe our opponent. They have Wormcoil, Monastery Mentor, and Archangel Avacyn in hand. We get a repeal a token, we're 1 mana short. Oh no, Frost Titan can keep 1 tapped. Oh yeah! Go to combat, attack for a lot. Oh my gosh, we might have just pulled this off. Oh, it might be happening. So we know our opponent's hand. Oh man, I think we beat them. And only if my opponent plays Wormcoil or Avacyn here. If they play Mentor and can make tokens, that's a problem. Opposition. Okay, we untap. We draw Swamp. Go to combat. Opponent is going to tap Grave Titan. Tap a zombie. We attack with everyone. Frost Titan. I think we tap the white source, because then our opponent can't play any of the 3 spells in their hand without first drawing a white source. And then we play a Venser to bounce a token now. So my opponent would have to draw, like, Collective Brutality to kill us. Oh, yeah! Oh, man. Whew! That was close. Yeah, run it back. Oh, we had to dig, but we found the win. That was something. Oh, I still shouldn't have Brain Freeze in this deck. Opponent starts Island. We can start turn 1 Looter Eel Core. I think that's the play. Play Mox Jet. Play Looter. Pass the turn. Turn 2, we can play Narset. Opponent plays a Swamp. Freebooter. Gets to take a look at our hand. There's like no way they don't take Narset, though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we draw an island. Go to combat. Attack for 1. We loot and discard an island. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains. 2 mana, plays a Hangerback Walker. Okay. They go to combat. They get in for 1. We go to 19 as well. We untap. Draw Miscal. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Draw Repeal. Yeah, we'll discard Brain Freeze. I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen. Play out a Swamp. And I think we just pass. We'll leave up Venser here. Opponent plays a Plains. They're going to Thoughtseize. So Repeal Hangerback, I think. Draw Turnabout. Okay. They probably take Venser. They could take Miscalc if they want to resolve Hangerback again this turn. Opponent goes to combat. They hit us for 1. We go to 18. And we untap. Draw Swamp. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Loot. I think we pitch Turnabout here. Play a Swamp. Pass the turn. So opponent is going to probably play around Miscalc here. Whatever they do. Okay, they recast Hangerback for 1. That's fine. They attack us for 1. Sure. Okay, on their end step, hardcast Gush. We get Shriekmaw and an island. Shriekmaw's only legal target is Looter Eel Core. Play an island, go to combat, attack for 1. I should have technically waited, but okay, we loot, pitch an island, pass the turn. We're at the point where we're probably going to cycle Miscalc, because otherwise our opponent is just going to play around it forever, and it's going to get to the point where it's very not good. And they play Jitte. They equip Jitte, go to combat, cycle Miscalc, we draw an island. Okay, so they hit us, they put charge counters on Jitte, they probably kill Looter immediately. Yep. Okay, we untap. We draw Ashiok. Play Polluted Delta. Play Ashiok. Uptick on our opponent. We get a Wormcoil Engine, which would be sweet if this Shriekmaw could kill either of our opponent's creatures. Alright. And the fact they only had to use 1 charge counter on Jitte means that they will have just enough power to kill Ashiok here. Opponent plays a land, goes to combat, attacks Ashiok, sure. Pumps Kite Sail, Ashiok down. Polluted Delta is going to get Watery Grave tapped. We basically have to get a Titan here very quickly. And I think it has to be Frost Titan. Daze is now pretty wildly irrelevant. And I think my opponent will then be able to... Actually, they can down tick to kill Frost Titan entirely. Opponent plays Monastery Mentor, which is a legal target for Shriekmaw. Hit us for 1, 2 charge counters on Jitte. We untap. Play an island, actually cast a Shriekmaw. Kill Mentor. They kill Shriekmaw. Yeah, I think we have to draw Frost Titan to deal with Jitte at all. I don't think we have any removal remaining for Kitesail. But now we know why they have Stoneforge. Okay, opponent plays a Grim Monolith. Goes to combat. Attacks for a lot. Okay, next attack will be lethal. Draw a Shark Typhoon, we could make a really, really big shark. I don't think that's helpful. Because my opponent could just make Kitesail Freebooter absolutely massive, I believe. I mean, it would be sweet if this works. What is that? We make an 8/8 shark, and they can make a 9/10 Kitesail Freebooter. Alright. Big ol' shark. Draw Mana Leak. Block here or it's lethal. Oh wow, okay. They did not pump Kitesail Freebooter to trade. They play Consecrated Sphinx. Okay. They suit up the Sphinx. Uh-huh. Draw Black Lotus. Opponent draws 2 cards. Play Narset. Down tick Narset. Yep. That's, I think we just concede here. Because, like, we're not drawing to anything, really. I think it's time for Collective Brutality over Brain Freeze and run it back. This might be a time where we want Blightsteel Colossus in this deck, or Liliana's Triumph. I think this is fine. If we get a good Black Lotus start, we're going to win. So, I would love to play first. This looks fine. Start Island, pass the turn. When it starts tap land, we draw Venser. Play an island, pass the turn. Opponent plays Dark Slick Shores, Freebooter. We definitely daze this. Untap, we draw Watery Grave, play a Swamp. Play Narset. Downtick Narset. We will take Ashiok, pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Swamp. Plays Stoneforge Mystic, gets Umezawa's Jitte. And Thoughtseize. Probably takes Venser. I believe that's the most disruptive thing we have against them right now. Yep. Okay, they take Ashiok. Alright, we untap. We draw Shark Typhoon. Downtick Narset. If only I could have if only I could have Mana Leak and Collective Brutality here. I think we take Mana Leak. Well, maybe we take Collective Brutality. We're gonna have 4 mana. I think we take Mana Leak, even though it's worse that our opponent knows about it. We'll shock Watery Grave and pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains. They are going to animate Shambling Vent. Go to combat. They attack us. We could Venser bounce Shambling Vent before we take damage. Though I don't think we do. I think we just take the hit here. Now I'm going to play Venser. Bounce Shambling Vent because it's a tap land. Untap. We draw Mox Jet, which I'm going to wait to play for like a big Mind's Desire, actually. Okay, we'll leave Venser back to block. Pass the turn. If my opponent's only land in hand is Shambling Vent, they can't play and equip Umezawa's Jitte this turn. I think if my opponent plays Jitte, I have to counter. I don't want to use Repeal if I don't have to here. Grim Monolith. Does that matter? It's a lot of mana, but I don't think that matters. They play a plane, so they're still holding Shambling Vent. It goes to combat, passes. We cycle Shark Typhoon. Make a 2/2, draw Black Lotus, which is perfect. Untap. Okay, that's not what I wanted to draw here, because I wanted to Mind's Desire into that. Now the question is, do we... I think we Mind's Desire this turn and follow up with Grave Titan. Actually, I can just play Grave Titan and have Repeal backup. Or not Repeal, Mana Leak backup. No, they have Grim Monolith. That doesn't matter as much. Let's just go for a several level Mind's Desire here. Okay, Repeal Mox. We draw a Swamp. Replay Mox. Play Black Lotus. And cast Mind's Desire. See what we hit. Land, Miscalc, land, click, which I do like because we have Narset, and Force. Okay, let's go ahead and click our opponent. We can just get rid of whatever their scariest spell is. They're going to put Jitte into play. So they have Elspeth, Oust, get rid of the Planeswalker, go to combat, attack with Venser Shark, pass the turn. So we do have Mana Leak, though I really doubt that matters at all in the slightest. And next turn we're playing a Grave Titan. My opponent likely, like, Shambling Vent. They could oust Vendilion Click. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. They play Island, equip Jitte. They can kill Narset. I shouldn't have attacked with one of the creatures. I should have left one of them back to trade with the Stoneforge. They attack us. They do not attack Narset. Okay? We untap. We draw Island. Play the Island. Play Grave Titan. They have Remand and 3 mana to pay for it? Ugh. Alright. Go to combat. I mean, we're going to attack because our opponent can just kill our creatures with Jitte at any time. They're going to kill Venser. Sorry, the lever in my chair came undone and I leaned back and hit the table, so that's why the camera was all over the place for a second. Remand was a pretty good top deck. Oh, they didn't... No, they did draw off Remand. Okay. So they play Kaya. We can exile the token. They're going to exile Black Lotus. Okay. Yeah, that's right. They can just kill the token. Exiling Black Lotus prevents us from playing Click and Grave Titan at the same time. Okay, we untap. Draw Click. Go to combat. Attempt to kill Kaya. I think now is our best chance to resolve Grave Titan. Unbelievable top decks! Are you kidding me? So we could have played Click on our opponent's turn to take that from them and force them to discard, but I was like, they probably did not draw another counterspell. Oh man, I mean, we've had a lot of luck this game and this league, but like, opponent is just wailing on us right now. They take Grave Titan. Last card is Mentor. Fire up Shambling Vent, sure. But now we can't resolve and block with Click because our opponent can just kill it. Oh, that is unbelievably dirty. Opponent, I applaud you. So like Frost Titan now is our only hope. And Frost Titan, not nice. I could click myself to draw. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. Now watch my opponent's card in hand be something amazing. Okay, it's just a land. I'm glad I did not click my opponent. Okay, they kill Click. They exile Moxjet. Animate Shambling Vent, and we just don't have a way to come back from this. We don't have a way to answer Jitte. Oh man, that Remand into Miscalc just obliterated us. We go to 9. I can turn about their creatures to survive another turn. But like, at this point, Jitte has enough counters that they can just... Even if we drew Frost Titan, they could just move the equipment and attack, and we would have to block, and their creature would be bigger than Frost Titan. Oh, Jitte's so disgusting. Opponent, you deserve the win. What we did to those earlier opponents was not fair, nice, or, quite frankly, should ever be legal. But... Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed this iteration of Vintage Cube. I know I did. Us having to pick between Ancestral Recall and Black Lotus was an unnecessarily brutal choice. Definitely Black Lotus was the right call there, though. I'm 100% on that one. And we did mean things to good people. And that's what Vintage Cube is about. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!